Good evening and thank you for tuning into this video. So as you know, we've been working with fractions a lot the last couple of days. So tonight we're going to talk about adding and subtracting mixed numbers. So first of all, I want to just review what is a mixed number. A mixed number consists of an integer, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth, and a fraction. So go ahead and put that definition down. A mixed number consists of an integer, and a fraction. Okay? So, whenever you see the mixed number 3 1/4, 3 1/4 literally means 3 plus 1/4. So that's something important to keep in mind as we work through some of these problems. So let's look at the first example. I'm just going to move this paper up. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the first example is 3 3/10 plus 1 1/4. Alright, so the first thing I got to do is I got to look at the fractions. Look at the fraction part first. The fractions are 3/10 and 1/4. So before I can add them together, just like what we did when we were adding fractions, I gotta find my LCD. In this case, my LCD is going to be 20. It is the lowest number that both 10 and 4 go into. Now since I found my LCD, I have to rewrite my mixed numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the integer alone, so 3 just stays the same, but I have to rewrite my fraction part of my mixed number. So I have to rewrite 3/10. So instead of 3/10, I'm going to have something over 20. So I'm converting 3/10. 10 goes into 22 times. 2 times 3 is 6. So 3 3/10 is just equal to 3 and 6/20. Now I gotta look at my other mixed number. So in this case, my integer stays the same. And now I need to convert the fraction 1/4. So instead of having 1/4, I'm gonna have something over 20. 4 goes into 25 times. 5 times 1 is 5. So 1 1/4 is the same as 1 5/20. So be sure when you're doing this, I still need to see your LCD and I need to see what you changed the fractions in, or what you changed the mixed numbers into. So now we can add. So 3 3/10 plus 1 1/4 is equal to 3 6/20. I'm sorry my handwriting's so bad, but I'm writing this at a weird angle. So we have 3 6/20 plus 1 5/20. Now, in order to add mixed numbers together, I first add my whole numbers. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So that's how I got my 4. I did 3 plus 1. And now I add my fractions together. So I have 6/20 plus 5/20. 6 plus 5 is 11. So my final answer is 4 and 11/20. Okay, so just to recap what we did, first we just looked at the fractions and we found the LCD. Then, for each of the mixed numbers, we rewrote the fraction part so that way both of the fractions would have the same denominator. Once I did that, I added together the whole number, so 3 plus 1 gives me 4. And I added together the fractions, so 6/20 plus 5/20 is just 11/20. And that is my final answer. Let's look at one more example. So for this example, we have 4 5/6 minus 1 1/9 is equal to, and we're trying to figure out this subtraction problem. So again, the first thing I gotta do is look at just my fractions. So I have 5/6 and 1/9. My lowest common denominator is going to be 18 because 18 is the lowest number that both 6 and 9 go into. Now since I have my lowest common denominator, I can go ahead and rewrite my mixed numbers. So my mixed number, my integer stays the same, so I keep the 4, keep the integer. And now I'm going to rewrite 5 over 6. I'm going to rewrite 5 over 6 so that it has a denominator of 18. I know that 6 goes into 18 3 times, and 3 times 5 is 15, so my numerator is 15. On this one, same thing. I'm going to keep my integer, so I'm going to keep the 1, and I'm going to rewrite 1 over 9 so that it has a denominator of 18. 9 goes into 18 2 times. 2 times 1 is 2. So now I rewrote my mixed numbers. Now since I've rewritten my mixed numbers, I can go ahead and add them together. So 4 and 5 over 6 plus 1 and 1/9 is just equal to So 4 and 5 over 6 plus 1 and 1/9 is just equal to 4 and 15 over 18 plus 1 and 2 over 18. Okay? Now to add this together, all I have to do is add the whole numbers together, or the integers together. So 4 plus 1 is 5. And then I just have to add my fraction part together. 15 plus 2 is 17. You know what? I'm going to move this over so that way you can see it a little more. Okay, there we go. So I added my whole numbers together. 4 plus 1 gives me 5. And then now I'm going to add 15 over 18 plus 2 over 18, which will give me 17 over 18. 17 over 18 can't be reduced, so my final answer is 5 and 17 over 18. And that is my final answer. You have 2 practice problems to try on the back. Go ahead and do those, and we'll discuss them in class tomorrow. God bless you and have a good evening.